Hey everybody. So I'm at 99 subscribers, and I think 100 subscribers is going to be like a pretty cool thing. I don't know. Humans, we are very numeric driven. So we get excited when we hit certain milestones, and yeah, probably hopefully tomorrow I'll hit 99. It's pretty cool. Um, you know. It's just interesting. And I'm getting to the point where I kind of have at least a comment every 2 or 3 days. And I remember going months and months between comments, and every comment is either as probably 9 out of 10 comments are like just like good job, thank you so much, just really positive comments, which I think is pretty much a mapping for humanity. 9 out of 10 people are just freaking awesome. And then probably of the other 1 out of 10, probably two of them are sort of just inquisitive about something. They're just like, hey, do you have a social media, or I had this issue, or something like that. And then I don't think I've ever had a mean comment from anybody. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting, and it's really exciting to have 99 subscribers. And I hope it's exciting for anyone watching this video to, you know, sort of a beacon out there saying, hey, the world is pretty good, and people are pretty good. The It is actually like, if you decide to go into learn about something and really understand it, 9 out of 10 people, 99 out of 100 people that you run into are just gonna be positive people that just want to help you or get help from you, but just to be a good thing. So that's one thing. And I don't know if you can see it, but I got like this thing on my lip. Yesterday I was playing Ultimate. I feel like I have to say something just because you don't want to leave gaps in people's like, oh, what's going on there. Yeah, I was playing Ultimate Frisbee yesterday, and generally at my age, I'm 56 now, so I try to stay out of like the the real high density, high chaos areas, and kind of do just a lot more running around the outside and trying to just use my endurance as an advantage to try to get myself open. And I decided to go into the fray, and I got whacked good. And there's only one guy out there that's older than me, and he's 67 years old, and he is a beast. And yeah, I ran into his shoulder, and I definitely came out worse for it. I found the one guy out there. Like, I'm literally decades older than almost everybody else out there. And then there's like one guy that's like 4 years younger than me, and then another guy that is 11 years older than me. And yeah, I found the one guy that was older than me, and yeah, he got me. He got me real good. So, anyways, I got this thing on my lip. Fortunately, I heal quickly. I guess I'll probably be growing a mustache over the next week, so I don't have to shave this area. Um, and then, yeah, once this heals up, although I can grow a nice mustache, I'll let it. I'll get rid of it and stay more clean cut. Anyways, so for today's work, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to get a whole lot done, other than kind of create the the branch and all that. So basically, we're gonna start working on lights, and the main agenda on the lights is to add a second kind of light. So when you go to mesh, and you you have three choices. To choose of kinds of meshes you choose. But in lights, you don't have anything like that. You have no choices. Um, I should probably let me turn the animations off. Um, Animation. Oh, oh yeah. No, that is interesting. So it kind of waits a second, and then you click it. So this application, that's kind of an indicator that this. I misspelled subscribers. Um, Subscribers. Um, let's see, subscribers, and then of course I have cap locks on, or maybe I was holding the cap button down. Nope. Subscribers. And it is funny because, like, so my wife has a huge TikTok um, channel, And in her TikTok channel, people are called followers. What is a subscriber in YouTube is a follower. But they do have subscribers. But if you're a subscriber, um, then you pay money. I think it's like $13 a month you pay, and then the TikTok artist gets half of that. Um, and so when she's trying to get people, since TikTok has a possibility of being outlawed in the United States in the next few months, she's trying to get her YouTube channel going, and everyone from TikTok that hasn't used YouTube is afraid to hit subscribe because they think they're going to have to pay money. And it's just so funny how our language, how we kind of screw up our language like that. But anyways, I have 99 subscribers on YouTube, and by the way, I have like over 1,000 subscribers on TikTok. It's just a lot or followers on TikTok. It's just so much easier on TikTok to get followers than it is on YouTube. I get very few watches, and for the few watches I get a lot of subscribers, right? Like a lot of my most of my videos have less than 10 watches, but yet I get a subscriber almost every day. And I think that does show that, like, I don't know, everything's not as fair as you expected, as you would think it is. But when I grew up, the thing I learned about life is the only fair you find in life is the place where they judge pigs. So I've always kind of gone, I don't really expect YouTube to treat me fairly, and I actually appreciate the fact that people get to learn about how to code and all that. So I'm trying to keep it real on these. So I'm not going to be able to get a lot done because these videos really shouldn't be that long. So I'm kind of balancing like getting stuff done so that somebody who is sort of a really good coder could just get a lot out of it versus just showing everybody like all the little mini pieces and all the micro pieces that have to be done in order to get the job done, trying to give everybody a slice of what happens. So that's a tough situation. But anyways, what I do on this project is I actually will create a branch locally. So that means if I create a branch and then you would go to the GitHub account, you would not see that branch. Now, most employers prefer it if you use whatever their system is, whether it be Amazon or Azure or whatever it is that Google has, Google Cloud. Um, Most of them would rather you go into that, and then you'll usually have a bug or a ticket, and in there you usually will have an option of some sort, or at least a click to an option where you can say create a branch, and they would rather you do it that way. It used to be that you would kind of create a branch locally, push it to the repo, and then go associate it to the bug. But now they typically want you to create it within the bug. Yeah, that seems to work better. Like I like to complain about stuff. Oh man, why did I stop my system? Anyways, I guess I did it so I could create a branch. So right now I'm sitting on this thing. You can't see it. I'm sitting on something called camera interface unification branch. And I do not want that anymore. Now I'm going to click on it and you won't be able to see it. It's like straight down for how my mouse is going. And I'm going to click it and it'll show that. And usually the first one, not always, but usually the first one is the branch that you're on. So it's the camera interface branch. I'm going to now create a local branch. So I'm going to say git. And so you can create a local branch with the git branch command. I typically don't do that because it's just an extra step. Because if you do it that way, you have to create the branch and then check out the branch. What I like to do is to git checkout and then send it the -b flag. So the -b flag is what tells it to check out a branch that you would create. And this is kind of backwards from English, and Git was not created by someone who speaks English. So if you're if you're an English speaker, primarily an English speaker, this Git is going to be very weird for you because the way they do verbs and nouns and all that is just backwards from English. And it's one of the few things we've been very spoiled as English speakers. Almost everything we use was made by English speakers. So we're used to everything kind of sort of aligning with the grammar rules of English. Git does not align with the grammar rules of English. So it's just something you have to get over. I don't know, get over. I don't, know exactly the best route. And I know that most Americans I know that use Git, uh, they typically will just use a GUI and they don't really know what's going on. And that's fine. They seem to be fine. They don't seem to know, have to understand anything. But I'm going to check out, I'm going to create and check out a new branch. And since this is a about lights, I'm going to say um, light. And so I want to make sure that I can't remember what all the previous branches I made that are sitting out there, and I don't want to have a branch collision. So I'm just going to make sure I say something um, that shouldn't have ever been in another branch name. And so since this is about creating a new, or partially about creating a new, it's a round, like we're going around, and this is one of the rounds, so I'm going to put round in there so that it makes sense. And then I'm going to put spotlight. I think it's called spotlight, right? 3JS. Yeah, spotlight. I know that because I searched on that before. Um, round. And I don't know what round it is. I don't know how many times I've been through this. Um, spotlight. Sprot. Spotlight. And spotlight and multi. I'll just say spotlight. Now I don't like it because we're going to do stuff, probably do stuff beyond spotlights, but I think it makes sense just to say spotlight. And maybe it would be good like to start adding like the rounds to it, like how many times I've been through it. That might have been useful information, but for now I'm just going to say light, round, um, spotlight. Um, and technically, so as an English speaker, I want to say the word branch. So in our language, if you're an English speaker, typically 9 times out of 10, the last word is what it is. So you'd be like, uh, you know, jet, fighter jet is a kind of jet, but a jet fighter would be like someone who fights real fast. Um, so this is not a spotlight. This is a branch, but it would be very redundant to call all my branches branches. So yeah, it's going to be a little awkward. Um, but if I hit enter now, I'm sitting on the spotlight branch. You cannot see because that's in the lower part, and I don't know what happens when I click here. See, it still doesn't show up in this drop down. But let's see if let me see about, yeah, if I move this over, you can see that we're in the spotlight branch. Um, so Um, so anyway, so now I'm on the spotlight branch, and now if I were to say git push, it's just going to be like, hey, yeah, that doesn't exist up there. But if you want it to exist, you can copy and paste this. I'll do that at the end. At the end of this, I'll do a git push, and I'll set the upstream of the origin to the light route. But see, the ordering of these letters is awkward as an English speaker for me, and I think anybody else. Um, but like I said, that's how it works. And like Linus Torvaldi invented this thing, and he created it in a way that made sense to him, and that's sort of his privilege since he built it. It's just the reality of things. But anyways, probably been rambling a lot. Yeah, 13 minutes and 48 seconds in. I have my new branch, and tomorrow I will start figuring out how in the world I got multiple shapes showing up here, because I want to stay very consistent with however I did shapes. I want that to work the same way with lights. What I don't want to do is reinvent the wheel so that the next time I go to meshes and I'm going to try to choose shapes, I'm like, oh, I have to relearn because back in round one I did that. And that's another balancing act. Like, do you want to suppress new novel ideas and getting better and better, and you're always just, oh, I did it this way because that's how I've always done it? That's a problem, and that's a big problem. Or do I want to have some consistency, um, and always be like, okay, now I'm not improving, but at least every time I go to these different things, it's easy for me to come up to speed and select different kinds of stuff. And that's just always going to be a balancing act. I think, I've never really sat down and thought about like why you should do one sometimes. You definitely should not always do one. You should not definitely reinvent the wheel every single time you do anything. And you definitely should not always just do things the way you've always done it. You definitely need to balance. And I don't know what the criteria is. I've just never really sat down and thought about it. But that's that. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.